Yeah, this video is called Parents That Disrespect Their Kids. Treat your kids like you want to be treated. Don't treat your kids like they're dirt. Don't treat your kids like they punching bags, be hitting on them and abusing them, male and female, young or old, especially when they're younger, growing up. And stop, damn it, doing drugs in front of them. Why do you think they turn out the way they do? Or they see you slapping on, and I'm talking to you men right now, hitting on your girlfriends or hitting on your wives in front of your kids. What you expect them to grow up and be like? They grow up and see what they saw being young, seeing you hit on your wife or your girlfriend or some other female relatives or females out in the world in public. Then they grow up thinking that's right, and then they grow up and do the same thing. That's why you get all these people out here, that have abused a lot of women over the years, and they go out and take it out on society, of women in society. And it all goes back, if you really dig and trace what got started and why did they start doing things like this. Kids have seen a lot of negative things growing up in their households with their family and their friends and their relatives. Don't be doing negative stuff in front of your kids, man. And then you expect them to grow up and be positive role models and productive citizens in this society after they see or grow up and seeing you, their male figures that they look up to, like their dad, like their uncles. You know what I'm saying? Their cousins, their nephews. What you expect them to grow up and be like? When they see all that negativity as they was a baby growing up. They didn't understand it as a baby, but as they got older and start developing mentally and physically, they start understanding. And seeing. Seeing is believing. Anybody can tell you something. But when you actually see it happening, then you know, and they know, that it's in their subconscious mind. It goes to their conscious mind consciously because they see you doing it, and it goes to their mind subconsciously. And then when they get old enough to date and have a girlfriend or female friends, especially a woman in their life, I'm talking about the boys, to men, then they start acting out the same things on their girlfriend or their significant other or fiance because of what they saw when they was little, growing up, watching their father and other male people in their family and outside the family do things to females. Well, the flip side of that is the women do the same thing. And also, I'm going to say this for men and women that have done that, and their kids are end up doing life sentences or doing a long bit because of what they saw growing up, and they emulated it. In other words, they did the same thing, what they saw when they were little. The women do the same thing. Stop doing drugs in front of your kids. Stop doing anything negative in front of your kids or saying anything negative, because all that goes to their subconscious mind, from the conscious to the subconscious. And it stays there. And they have nightmares, a lot of them, over it. If you really sit down and talk to kids that have witnessed these type of things with somebody in the mental and, conversation rooms, they'll tell you they saw things. It affected them in a lot of different ways. And that's why they ended up doing it, because of what they saw. It wasn't positive, it was negative. That's why you have all these kids killing their parents. You know, boys shooting their fathers, or their male relatives or female relatives. But the women do it too. You know, they do drugs in front of their kids. They put them in harm's way all the time. You know, they're standing out on the corner with them. No clothing on their bodies to protect them from the weather or the heat. These kids grow up and emulate what their parents show them that they doing and was doing and still is doing. Some are strong enough to get out of it and walk away and turn their life around and be productive citizens in the society. Most of them don't have a chance because their parents won't stop doing what they're doing negatively. I mean, how you gonna sit up and do drugs in front of a 3-month-old baby, 4-month-old baby, then the baby grows up into a little boy, and he still sees stuff that when he was a baby, he didn't understand it or she didn't understand it. I'm talking about the little girls too. They didn't understand it growing up, but as they got older, they start understanding. They think that's the right thing to do, to have fun, to party. It's not the right thing to do. How you gonna sit up there and negatively program your kids for destruction and for failure by doing negative things in front of them, like drugs, and then prostituting them, you know, in their life, meaning watching their mother having all these guys, Johns, coming over, you know what I'm saying, and the girls and the boys are watching the men do the same thing with the women, their dad, their uncles, their cousins, male cousins I'm talking about. How you expect them to have a chance of living a productive, positive life when you're doing negative things in front of them? And then you expect them to respect you? You know what I'm saying? You get in an argument with them, and all the stuff that they done seen you do negatively, they don't trust you. You know? Kids are very resilient and very intelligent. And they know right from wrong, even if you don't teach it to them. But it depends on their upbringing. You know what I'm saying? When you get in an argument with your dad, and then next thing you know, he pulls a gun and kills his son or daughter. Or the son kills the dad or the mom over an argument. And if you trace it back, it's been a lot of abuse all along. So build up to that point to where that situation happened. This happened recently, a few days ago. You know, father was telling his son to help clean the house. They got into it. Old dude didn't want to do it. I don't know if it was any physical confrontations or what. I'm sure it was. So old dude calls his brother up, or so-called brother. He comes over with a weapon. And next thing you know, a gun. Next thing you know, they get into it. And then dad gets killed. He gets shot, point blank, to death. All because of the other son who didn't want to get off his lazy ass and do some chores around the house. That's petty. That's what I'm talking about. Don't cause your kids to go there like that. I mean, I'm not saying the father was at fault. I'm saying the kids are. But if they grow up in kind of that negativity atmosphere and family situations, that's all they know to do. Because they're in the streets all the time, doing all the wrong things. And I preach this a lot in my videos, hanging around the wrong types of people. If you hang around them kind of folks, you're going to be like them kind of folks. I've been telling you people out here that's been watching my videos, especially on this topic, monkey see is monkey do. It is. They see you doing something negative, they want to do it. But then on the flip side of that, they see you doing something positive, they want to do that too. So you got to make a choice. In other words, they got 1 foot over here in the dark, 1 foot over here in the light. You got to make a choice. You want to be in the dark, then put both feet in the dark, in that light. You want to be in the light, put both feet in the light with Jesus. Now, the whole family's upset. The whole family's suffering because of a little isolated incident that could have been, solved before it even got that far. And it didn't. It cost somebody their life. His own father. He called old dude over, and they get into it. And then he gets shot because his son that called his brother over didn't want to do no chores around the house. He just wanted to lay around and do nothing and be a bum. Well, he can be a bum for the rest of his life now because he's going to prison for a long time. That's first degree. You know what I'm saying? You shoot somebody like that point blank over something petty? That petty? I can't see it. Them type of folks could never be in my circle, ever. Even the women. Never. Ever. Ever. Never. Because I don't roll with them types of folks. We may speak from a distance, passing by, hey, what's up, how you been, how you doing, blah, blah, that kind of thing. But you can't come over. You can't hang out in my circle. You can't hang out around my friends or my children. No. Because I know your seed is evil. It's wicked. It's despicable. It's in the dark. It's negative. Take that elsewhere. Go hang out with your negative friends. But like I said, treat your kids with respect, and they'll respect you back. But how you going to expect them to respect you back when you sitting up in front of them doing all kind of negative stuff in front of them as they're growing up? And then they end up doing what you doing. And then they end up going down just like you. All because you was a bad role model in front of them. Drugs, prostitution, trafficking women, assault, beating up your wife, your girlfriend, or vice versa with the boys beating up their girlfriend or their wives, or the women doing the same thing to the men. Stabbing folks. It's crazy. Treat your kids the way you want to be treated. That's a simple rule in life. And that goes for anybody, of any culture, of any ethnicity, any gender, straight or gay, it doesn't matter. Treat people how you want to be treated. Talk to people how you want to be talked to. Either positive or negative. You come at me talking out the side of your neck, you got to go. This ain't the Barnum and Bailey show. And I'm serious. You can't, I ain't gonna put up with that. I cut you off like I cut a piece of steak. Bye. See ya. Wouldn't want to be you. And the reason why I made this video is because, I made a video on what I'm talking about. About how kids shoot their mother and father after they struggled and went through a lot of hard times, negativity, and in the dark type stuff to protect and raise their kids. And then you turn around, the kids, when they grow up, and they come from good families too. That's another thing. But the reason why they changed and did what they did, turn around and shoot their parents, mother or father, is because they hanging out there in the world. They're hanging out there in the dark with the other dark people out there, doing all the negative stuff. They say you become, when you hang around people, what you think about, and you act like them. Because misery loves company, and company loves misery. If misery don't have company, misery's gonna go find some company. Could be you. Male, female, doesn't matter. And company loves misery. See? No. Mm-mm. That's why I made this video, because a young lady left a comment after I did the video about, kids killing their parents and stuff. And she said, well, what about the parents that disrespect the kids? And I said, you know what? That's a good topic for me to speak on. I don't know everything, but I know this. I know I had a great upbringing. It was strict. It wasn't always easy, but it kept my soul from hell. Yeah, I got it in some situations, but what saved me and brought me out of it was Jesus Christ. Because I was raised in church. And I was raised very strict. And I'm cleaning it up. Cleaning my act up. I have over the years. I had to get rid of certain people in my circle. Some still want to come back, but they can't. Because they still doing the same thing 10, 15, 20, 30 years longer back. They still doing the same thing, and they look terrible. They were very attractive and handsome at one time, the women and the men. Now they look run down like a troll. Teeth gone, on drugs, in the street, sleeping around, in and out of shelters, in and out the jails. Nah. Feel sorry for you, but the choice is up to you. You got to think about this, man. You ain't getting no younger, lady. You got to figure a way to do a U-turn and turn your life around. Because you got children, a lot of you women I'm talking to out here that are looking up to you for help. And how are they going to get any help if you ain't got yourself together? And I'm talking to you men too, boys, teenagers, college students. You know what I'm saying? Seniors, some of you, certain percentage. I don't know what that is, but they looking up to you for help and guidance. And if you still doing negative stuff, that's not helping them. That's going to make them end up like you, maybe worse. But if you doing right, trying to do better, and have done better, then they got a chance to change and turn their life around. But especially when they're younger, you see, when they get older, they got scars of that. They have nightmares. And then that's why they go out here and do all these crimes and stuff, these heinous, ridiculous, uncalled for crimes like that. The parents abuse the kids. Then when the kids get older, they abuse whoever they with. If he or she get kids, that's a cycle, negative cycle, a destructive cycle. So, yeah, respect your kids, they'll respect you. Talk to your kids right. Don't talk to them like you in a concentration camp. Nah. They love you when they looking up to you for help. But if you can't give them no help, you need to either put them in a foster home where somebody can give them the love that they seeking, or give them to some other relative to help raise. You know what I'm saying? Don't you keep them there and just keep abusing them. And they keep seeing stuff. These babies and kids are in the way of all this danger. Just heard about a baby get burned with scald water, and he died. Carelessness of the parents or parent. I don't understand why you women have kids and then you turn around and abuse them like that. Slap them around and all that stuff. Abuse them, do drugs in front of them, have sex in front of them with strangers. They all screwed up. They don't know what else to think but go along with it because they don't understand. But once they get older and do understand, the scars are still there because they never got no help for all the things they experienced and seen and heard. Then you tie up your kids when you're going to go do drugs and all this. That's wrong. It's sick, it's evil, it's in the dark, and it's satanic. Then you come back after you do your little drug binge. They might be there, safe, and then they might not be. You know what I'm saying? Treat your kids with the utmost respect. I'm talking to you women especially, because you carried a child for 9 months, have the baby, and then you're going to mistreat the baby? You don't deserve no kids. And you got mothers out here that wish they could have babies. For whatever medical or complication reasons, they can't. That's why they adopt kids. That's where they need to be. The ones that's in this kind of life like that, being abused and seeing their parents do all these negative things, and then they grow up, they're not a productive child in society, or man or woman, because they got all these scars from the past. And they need help, and a lot of them don't get help because they don't know where to go to get help. And by the time they do, some may be saved, but some won't be. A lot of them won't be, because they act just like their father or their mothers. So treat your kids with the utmost respect. Treat them like you want to be treated. That's all. That's really simple wisdom, advice. Treat your kids like you want to be treated. Just like you want to be treated right, treat your kids the same way. And I guarantee you, they'll grow up and be productive people in this life. And keep them in church. Keep them in something positive. Not all that negativity. That's going to scar them for life. And then they're going to go out here and act it out on somebody innocent and end up in prison or on death row for the rest of their life. Do you really want that for your kids? I'm talking to anybody who's listening to this video that got kids or nephews and nieces or whatever. I don't think you do. Because it's terrible. When I watch Nightline, Dateline, all these shows where people have done really wrong things to their relatives and their kids and other people, it's sickening to watch and hear. I'm done.